I'm Kate from Sew Into Overlocking here, and welcome to my tutorial today on a 3-thread super stretch stitch. Yes, it's a really big mouthful. It's a fantastic stitch if you're sewing lots of stretch fabrics, particularly activewear. So with these leggings, I did the reverse cover stitch over the seam. So you might be able to see that if I hold it up nice and close. There we go. So to have that stitching on top of your already overlocked seam, it can be quite bulky with a standard 4-thread overlock. So by using a super stretch stitch, we're going to have our 2 rows of needle stitching, so you have that nice strength, but we're only using 1 looper. So the lower looper thread is going to wrap all the way around the seam, so therefore we're creating less bulk. So when I'm doing this, I like to use a woolly nylon. So woolly nylon is a soft, stretchy nylon thread. It's really strong, but it's also great when you're wearing your garments, and particularly things like the activewear and leotards and things. You wear them quite close to your skin, so it's nice and soft, strong, and goes a really long way. Your chain stores, you'll be able to get your basic colours, your black, white, grey, cream, navy maybe. But if you're looking for more colours, because I like things to colour match, then you might have to start to source your woolly nylons elsewhere. So Designer Threads is a brand that is brought in by the distributors of Baby Lock. So from a Baby Lock retailer, you will be able to order, if they don't have them in stock, the Designer Threads woolly nylon. This is a Japanese brand, and it is a beautiful thread to work with. And it's like anything, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than the ones that you get from your chain stores, but the quality is absolutely superb. It's also, fantastic if you're doing rolled hemming, because it fills your gaps in beautifully, and you just use it in the upper looper when you're doing a rolled hem. So Designer Threads, I have about 20 colours available. So if you are looking to colour match, you can go to that one. Metla bring in Seriflock. So again, there's a decent colour range in this one, and Metla is brought into Australia by Victorian Textiles. So you'd be able to go to any sewing shop, quilting shop that is supplied by Victorian Textiles, and they will be able to order the Seriflock if they don't have it for you. And Gutermann have bulky lock. So again, your basic colours, your black, white, red, navy, cream, but in the variegateds, this is where the bulky lock wings out, because look at those colours in that. And there's some beautiful different variations of the variegated thread in that. So if you are looking for something to have a bit of fun with, then the bulky lock is amazing. Today I'm actually using the Wonderfil soft lock. So the soft lock, again, it's just like a woolly nylon. It's got that stretch. It's really soft. What I love about this one is the colour range. So I'm like a kid in a candy shop when it comes to coloured threads, and that just gives you an amazing range. So if you are looking for a perfect colour to match, particularly if you're roll hemming something, the soft lock's fantastic. So you'll be able to get that from anywhere that has Wonderfil threads. So we're going to take a closer look at how to create this stitch. Here we are in front of the overlocker. I'm going to open the doors, so removing the thread catcher from the front, sliding the door open. Now I have already threaded my lower looper, and what I need to do is to attach the sublooper, which deactivates the upper looper, because what will happen is if you sew without putting this little attachment in, it won't form a stitch. So this is the way of basically letting the machine know that you haven't got thread running through that. So what we're going to do is place this little part in the top of that at the upper looper. The little pin will pop out the back there to make sure it's in place, and then we just push it until that end goes into the eye of the looper. So that's locking off the looper there. So depending on the brand of the machine you have, your sub looper might be in your accessory box. With a Baby Lock machine, it will actually be attached to the upper looper, and you flick it across and put it into place. I have my 2 needles threaded as normal. And usually when I'm setting up for this stitch, I find the needle tensions stay pretty much on standard, which on this machine is 4. And you will have to play with your lower looper tension depending on the type of thread you have on. Because don't forget, that thread now is actually going to wrap all the way around because we're not using any upper looper thread at all. So my stitch length's on 2.5. My differential's on 1, but if you find your fabric is stretching, then obviously you would need to increase that. But most of the time when you're sewing seams and things, differential on 1 would be sufficient. And I have my cutting width set to 6 because generally with stretch fabrics, you find a cutting width of 6 is perfect. So I'll pop my thread catcher back on the front of the machine so I don't make too much of a mess. And I'm going to place the fabric in front of the foot. Okay, so this is our 3-thread super stretch stitch. So I have my 2 rows of needle stitching, the left and the right needle. And my lower looper is creating all of that thread work on the front and the back. So the advantage of this is you have great strength, but also that bit of stretch, which is going to work beautifully with that fabric. So if you find that your looper thread is too tight, you would go to a lesser number. Or if it's too loose and you've got too much thread hanging over the edge, then you go to a higher number. I hope you found this tutorial beneficial and can use this stitch in your sewing. If you have any questions, please get in touch with me through my Instagram or Facebook, which is Sew Into Overlocking, or through my website, which is sewintooverlocking.com. And I'll look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye for now.